Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm fishing. I'm actually going to turn this channel into a fishing channel. Air guns no more. Fishing gets way more views, really entertaining, more people fish. So I'm very excited to be switching this channel to a fishing channel. I'm just going to call it like Atlas Fishing or something like that. Abandoning Atlas air guns, screw that, boring as hell. Now we got some real entertainment, and my golly, I totally caught something. Oh my gosh. Take the sandal. I got it. Ah. There's gotta be something serious in here. Here it is. Check this out. Ah. Woo! Look at that. That is a beautiful scope. Yeah. Check that out. That's like a 5-pounder. Guess we're doing air guns after all. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm checking out this Orcair 5-25 by 56 first focal plane ED glass scope. And I don't typically do scope reviews, and the reason why is that my time as a videographer is worth more than the products most of these companies are offering to give me in trade. I don't do trades, I get paid for my work, and that just is what it is. However, I was so impressed with the Orcair compressor a couple of months ago when I did that video, and I've been using it here and there since then. So impressed with that compressor, I said yes to the scope because I really wanted to see what Orcair has to offer. And the short answer is this is a very good scope for the money. Very good. I will probably be offering this at my store, and I like it. So let me put this on while I talk to you. Right now I'm re-zeroing the elevation because it was a little off for me, for my taste. So let's get the criticisms out of the way first. This eye box is not very forgiving. What does that mean? It means that when you have your face behind the scope and you're trying to get that perfect distance from the reticle to your eye, very hard to get perfect placement with your eye to get that image down range. I think it makes it a little harder to do a parallax error check on the go. That's another drawback with that same issue. On the plus side though, for bench rest, I think that forces you to keep a better cheek weld, a consistent cheek weld throughout your shooting. So I think it might improve accuracy, being that the eye box is a little more just tight, like it's a little harder to move around. Now, the other thing I would have to say so far that I'm critical of is the illumination dial itself is very hard to click. I felt that it was kind of harder for my finger to get there and move it around. Not the end of the world. I barely ever use illumination, so I'm just letting you know that the turret is a little hard to turn for the on off 1 through 6 illumination. It seems to me that the weight and size of the Orcair is considerably less than similar brands too, so I do like that it's a pretty powerful scope, but it's not absolutely gigantic, which to me is actually a plus despite being 34 millimeters on the tube. Let's talk about the clicks really quick. The clicks I really like. You simply pull it out and then you twist. Very distinct clicks. I love that. They did a great job on the turrets. Giving a very distinct click per 0.1 MRAD or milliradians. Let's talk about the parallax. The parallax goes between 20 and infinity. The setting right underneath infinity for parallax is 2,000 meters, I believe. So this has a wide range of use, but us air gunners only are going to use really between 20 and 200 yards. So with that being said, the parallax is a very precise adjustment on the Orcair, which is really nice. I don't have any problem setting my parallax perfectly at varying distances between 20 and 150 yards, for example. It's very, very easy. I like that. It's also something that I've noticed that some scope manufacturers will really have a difficulty with a knob in the first stages of the parallax adjustment, and then latter stages you're able to move that knob much easier. I don't know why they do it like this, but the Orcair scope, what I really like about it is that the resistance on the knob is the same 20 through infinity. So it allows precision at a yardage that's even, let's say, 150 yards or 127 yards. It's very easy to get the right parallax at the right distance. So the illumination, let's talk about the illumination really quick. Orcair did something very, very special with the scope that's different than a lot of the other scopes on the market right now. Now, whether you have the full reticle illuminated or maybe the cruciform style just in the middle, either way, what I typically see on the illumination as a dealer is that they are too powerful. They bleed over on the image. So you'll see illumination shadows or illumination light on each side of the scope tube on the interior. It bleeds over and it ends up like infecting the whole scope. And so your picture on the higher settings is typically too much. There's just too much illumination happening. It's distracting. It could, get you to be basically seeing some distortions in the glass. It's just a funky thing. So whatever you want to call that, the bleeding in those scopes is way too heavy of that light. Orcair, they use a lot of constraint, and they ended up having 1 through 6, and at the 6th level, it is a very still subtle light. Now, the one caveat to that is if you're buying a scope and you're expecting a very bright illuminated scope, Orcair is not going to be that scope for you. But they're doing it right, because illumination should only really be used as a small aid in a situation like you're looking in the shadows in a heavily forested area, or you're hunting in kind of like, dawn or dusk situation where you might need a little aid, or you're shooting on a black backdrop and you need a little aid, a little contrast to what you're shooting. The Orcair scope does that, but it does not have a very, very bright illuminated reticle. So it won't bleed over on your eyes. I find that as a big, big plus. I think they did the right thing, something that most scope manufacturers should do. It's funny, a lot of the scope manufacturers now, when they have illumination, I just never use it. And the reason I never use it is because they bleed over. So Orcair did it right. So how about we show you some of this image quality? So let's talk about my final thoughts on the Orcair 5-25 by 56 scope. This is a first focal plane. What I really liked about this scope are the turrets, the very distinct clicks. I did a lot of box tests and it passed them every time. It held at 0 correctly. I really liked the parallax, very easy to manipulate. It gave the true distance in my test. And the illumination, step 1 through 6, was subtle, and I really think that is a big plus on the scope. It wasn't bleeding over on the image. Really like that about this scope. Now let's talk about the glass really quick. This is ED glass. ED glass was developed by Nikon, I believe. It means extra low dispersion glass. It's supposed to help with color aberration. That just means color fringing. If you have a cheaper scope and you're looking through, the image that you're going to get is going to have distortion around the perimeter, color distortion. And so ED glass is supposed to help with that. A lot of companies are running that now. I think that for this scope, the edge-to-edge clarity that I saw and the color that I saw was really good. The only time I could see some distortions in the image was past the magnification 23, but I think for a usable range from 5 to 23 is really good for a price point of about 350, 400 bucks. So overall, I really like this scope. It is in MRAD. I think that's a trend that we're gonna see as a community for air gunners happen more and more. So if you like MRAD or you're thinking about moving to MRAD versus MOA, I think there's a lot of benefits to it. And so every click is 0.1 MRAD with the scope. So overall, really love the scope. I think it's a great scope for the money. Definitely built well. And is it worth 350 bucks? Absolutely. Is it worth 400 bucks? Yes, absolutely. Is it worth 450 bucks? Yes, absolutely. So definitely check this out. I'll leave a link in the description. There's a video to Amazon, and I might even pick up a few of these for my shop. You guys have a good day. I'll see you next time. Guess we're doing air guns after all.